Okay, about 1 year ago, I did a video on our revenue for 2022. I broke everything down for you guys. I was very transparent and gave you all the numbers. I figured, what the heck, I'm gonna do that again. Also, later in this video, I'm gonna go over how I deal with the issues between QuickBooks and ShopBox and how I have made my life so much simpler with that process. In last year's video, I kind of broke down all of my numbers based on service areas and how we ranked with each one. And so last year, coming in at number 1 for us was signs and banners. And last year I'll say this year, signs and banners is also number 1 for us. This year we did $315,000 in signs and banners alone. I believe last year, or in 2022 as a company, we did $305,000 in revenue. So just signs and banners alone eclipsed that mark. We did increase our income by 185% is the increase for signs and banners income from the previous year. So one thing I noted in last year's video was my margins for signs and banners was a paltry 22%. And so I made it a priority to increase that number. My goal was to get everything to be 50% margin, which would be 100% markup. And I fell short of that. It was 40% last year. That's something I gotta take a look at. Overall, much improved from 2022, but some work to be done there. Number 2 this year was screen printing. We did $89,000 in screen printing. Screen printing was number 6 for us in 2022. So major improvement this year. Obviously we bought the automatic press this year. But we increased sales 1,904% for screen printing over 2022. So that's been pretty awesome. I did mention that I did predict in last year's video that screen printing was going to be a major change for us. I predicted screen printing, sublimation, and lasering would be the large categories. And with the lasering and the sublimation, yeah, you probably just saw we have a shop cat right now. See that? Maybe I'll talk about that later. But I predicted that our promotional items category would increase a lot because of lasering and because of sublimation and screen printing. And that category actually didn't change numbers-wise, but income-wise, yeah. Ranking-wise, it didn't change, but income-wise, it did. Number 3 this year was paper printing. Paper printing for us last year was number 2. This is the only category that really decreased for us from last year. It didn't decrease a lot. It decreased 5%. So in 2022, we did 89,000. This year, we did 85,000 in sales of paper printing. Paper printing has been really good for us lately, and we really figured some stuff out with that. I'm expecting big things. And this year with paper printing, we've learned a lot. It's kind of a mystery to us. Last year was kind of our first foray into getting into it in-house. And so it's been a learning year, but we're ready to attack the year this year for paper printing. Number 4 for us this year was services. Services was number 3 last year. We increased our service income 21%. The biggest part of that was graphic design. We charged $24,000 graphic design fees, which is honestly pretty terrible. We could charge a lot more in design fees. We do have a retainer account that is all graphic design now that's showing up in the income for this business. And so in 2023. When I do next year's video, you're going to see the service income increase quite a bit. Number 5 is promotional items. Promotional items was number 5 last year, but we did increase sales for promotional items 114%. We brought in $38,000 worth of income in promotional products this past year. Number 6 is reimbursement income. This category is kind of whatever. It was number 4 last year. It's number 6 this year. That actually decreased as well, 66%, but that really doesn't matter. It's just getting reimbursed for costs that I pass on to the customers. Total income, total revenue was $609,000 last year. We increased that 113% from the previous year. So pretty happy with that result. The way I look at margin is I have an income account for each one of the service areas that I want to track. And then I have a cost of goods sold account for each one of those areas as well. And so then I just kind of minus between the two, and that gives you your adjusted gross income, AGI, for the year. And so when you look at all of the cost of goods sold accounts, while our revenue increased last year 113%, our cost of goods sold only increased 42%. And so that's really good. Our gross profit, AGI, increased 232% over last year. And so I think a lot of that is just due to the fact that we're doing stuff in-house now versus outsourcing it. And so we were really able to increase a lot of our margin this year. And so overall, our margin was 58%. My goal was 50% margin. It was 58% this year. That means a little bit over a 100% markup for our products and services. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that result. Now, below cost of goods sold, you have your operating cost of the business. It's things like rent, utilities. Number 1, personnel. It's always going to be personnel. And so when you look at that overall, I'm not going to break that down by every single category, but my expenses increased 188% last year. And so we did have an increase in income of 545%, our total net profit. So that's good. But expenses did increase quite a bit, and it's mostly was personnel. Our biggest challenge last year was personnel. There are 3 people last year that worked for us that are no longer with us. And I made I guess I better just leave it at that. There's only so much you can talk about that kind of stuff, but it's hard. You guys know it's hard. And my wife, Sally, is joining me. January 21st is going to be her first day here. And that day cannot get here soon enough. Can't wait for her to start with us. And I think that is going to be a huge driver for us this year, because I need somebody who's smart that can really run front of house here at this business, keep the revenue coming in so that I could stay focused on production and someone else can stay 100% focused on keeping that revenue rolling. I said before in a previous video that the integration between Shopbox and QuickBooks leaves a lot to be desired. And I don't necessarily think it's the fault of Shopbox. I mean, trying to integrate with QuickBooks is just gonna suck no matter what. They do give you the ability to push your invoices that were created in Shopbox to QuickBooks so that you can associate invoices with particular customers and all that. New customers do get pushed over into Shopbox and into QuickBooks. if you set up a new product, let's say you set up banners, right? In that product in Shopbox, you're able to select what the income account is. So the income account for me that I track is roll-to-roll printing for banners. So I have a roll-to-roll income account, and then I have a roll-to-roll cost of goods sold account. And so whenever it pushes that over to QuickBooks, you know, ideally that would just roll on over. The problem is, over the course of a year, you're going to be creating products on the fly, right? Sometimes you don't bother selecting the income and cost of goods sold account. Or it could just be a situation where you created a new category in Shopbox, but it wasn't created in QuickBooks and it wasn't matched up. And so it could get hairy very quick, because essentially what you're having to do is you're having to maintain two different databases. And anytime you do that, you're just asking for trouble. I think the best approach, and what my approach is now, is Shopbox is the place where I manage all of my income. It's where all of my product categories lie right now. It's where all of my customers lie right now. It's where all of my invoices are. Okay, that's my goal, is for Shopbox to be that. For me, QuickBooks is the place where I tie in all of my bank accounts and my credit cards, and I'm tracking expenses with that. And so what has made my life just so much easier is, inside of QuickBooks, I simply accept all, like if I'm going through my bank account and I see a deposit, that deposit simply gets associated with sales income. I have a sales income account. It's a generic sales income account. It all goes there now. There's no thinking involved with it. All income goes into the sales income account. Don't get me wrong. I am a stickler for being able to track and have a beautiful profit and loss statement. You could still do that. Every single month inside of Shopbox, you're able to see a breakdown of your income by category. And you can very easily match that up inside of QuickBooks. And all I did was I create a journal entry moving from the sales income bucket to all the other different buckets that I want to track. And I date that journal entry the first of the month. So November, I'm able to track my November. I could pull up a profit and loss inside of QuickBooks. I could pull up the month of November, and it's going to have all the same income data in Shopbox in QuickBooks. And it's super easy. You don't have to worry about importing invoices over to QuickBooks and matching crap up. That sucks. It's not good. It's really bad. Don't have to worry about it. I don't want QuickBooks to have all the invoices. It's totally fine. I'm really, really pleased having Shopbox do that and QuickBooks not. It works out great. So if you're not very good with accounting or doing a journal entry, I just thought I would show you how to do this very simple journal entry so that your income data is broken down just like it always was. Here's what that looks like. Okay, so here we are. This is a journal entry. All you got to do is create a journal entry. This is what my journal entry for the month of October looks like. You can see here, I dated it October the 1st. Our total income in October was $69,286. You can see here, I have the bucket. I've been dumping all of my income into the sales income account, right? So what we do here is we're going to debit the sales income account, and then you just credit each one of these in order to move the money from sales into these other income accounts. So you can see here, I moved $26,000 over to screen printing for October. I moved $14,000 worth of paper printing over. I moved $8,900 into signs and banners income for rigid signs. I moved $8,600 over to roll, $6,000 over to graphic design, and $5,600 over to promotional items income. And so that's all there is to it. And now whenever I run a report, a profit and loss statement, these numbers show up exactly the way that I want them to. There you go. That's how I do it, guys. It makes my life so much easier. So give that a shot. I hope you all appreciate the candidness here. I would say that moving forward next year, I'd say this past year, we had some great months. We had some bad months. And so things are riding high and then they're really low. And it's like, oh, I just want some more consistency in 2024. I want to string together 2 or 3 really good months, you know, and then maybe just have a mediocre month, you know, like I want to have a little bit more consistency there. I'd like to have a little bit more stress when it comes to finances. And that's what I'm hoping for and shooting for in 2024. Let me know how stuff is going with you guys. Leave some comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're getting very close to 1,000 subscribers. That's one of my goals this year, to surpass that. That would be really cool. I think we can do that pretty early in the year. And when I do reach 1,000 subscribers, I could do some cool things, like I could have like a store where I sell some merch and stuff like that. So I might end up doing that because I've had some requests from some of you guys about selling shirts. And I kind of want to wait until I could do it via YouTube. I think that'd be kind of cool. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, guys. We'll see you soon.